Welcome back. Dr. Troy Dukewitz's Retention Secrets, where our purpose is to increase patient certainty so we can increase patient retention. Here we are, the month of November overview. I hope you're excited because I got to tell you, I'm excited. These tips have been going great. People are talking about how they're connecting more with their patients. Their patients are excited to have the conversation with them. They're learning more. The patients are learning more. Why? Because you're bringing it. You're more aware that you need to talk to them about things that matter, not the weather, not the holidays, and not sports. So let's roll into the November tips. Now, the theme for this month is we're going around gratitude. For those of you who live in the United States, what do we have? Thanksgiving is coming around the corner. Now, if you are not celebrating Thanksgiving, for example, our Canadian friends had that in October, it's okay, don't worry about it. Gratitude is a theme that you can have any time of the year. So feel free to dive in on this and really have fun with this month's tips. So this November is a 4-week month. So we've got 4 tips for you, plus your 2 bonus tips. Don't worry, I wouldn't forget those. So first and foremost, we're talking about leaves, trees, you and me. And that is all about innate intelligence. It gives us an opportunity to open up and talk about something that we typically don't talk about enough, I think, which is innate intelligence. And so this tip is going to be used in one of 2 ways. Number 1, you can just laminate the card. It's going to have a picture of trees. It's going to have a picture of leaves. So it's going to allow you to just laminate the card and hand it to people so you can talk about it. So you might only print off about 5 to 10 of them for the month. And you just use those as a stimulus to talk about the card. What do you think the leaves and the trees have to do with you and me? And then we can talk to them about innate intelligence. That's week number 1. Week number 2. Week number 2, we are using a novelty item. And that novelty item we're using this month is, drum roll please, a cell phone. That's right, this month we are going with the trusty cell phone. And what does this cell phone have to do with your health? What does it have to do with chiropractic? And mainly, there's a couple of different ways that we can go here. Number 1, who do you need to call? If you want to dive in on referrals this month, who do you need to call that needs to hear about chiropractic? You could use it that way. Number 2, just merely talking about and asking people, what does this phone have to do with your health? What does it have to do with chiropractic? It allows you to talk about the batteries in the phone and how being adjusted helps you to be stronger, more power. It can help you to talk about the connection, so the bars on the phone in terms of your connectivity, and talk about when we're at full strength. That means that we're completely connected. We can talk to them that way. Or we can use it, because we're on gratitude and we're talking about this month, is we can use it to talk about being disconnected. If you're disconnected in a relationship, if you're disconnected to people that you love and appreciate, what happens? Do you have more or less power through that? Do you have more or less connection through that? And the answer is obviously simple. You have less. But what happens when you pick up the phone and you make the call? You become more connected with your family, friends, or loved ones, which means you now have more power, you have more energy. Chiropractic is what? Chiropractic is an opportunity for you to get more power, more energy, and more focus, because we know that we are healthier and we are better off and we are connected as opposed to disconnected. So that this phone can go so many different directions, but it really is a great tip to open up conversation. Again, the beauty of novelty items, which we must remember, is everyone has a cell phone. Everyone has one. So as we continue to educate our patients about chiropractic, and especially when we use novelty items, these are things that are easily accessible. So when they're out at dinner with somebody, they can use a cell phone to explain chiropractic. When they're out at somebody's house having dinner, they can explain chiropractic. So we give them these ways of using novelty items to better understand chiropractic. It's going to help them to be more certain. It's our purpose, isn't it? It's going to increase their certainty around chiropractic and their ability to explain it. So the cell phone is one of my favorite ones. You'll have a lot of fun with this. Then we have week number 3. It's Gratitude and Appreciation Week. Why? Well, first and foremost, boom. This is a short week for many offices, as Thanksgiving is that week. And so this is really a focus around being thankful for your patients, but actually saying it. Saying thank you for being a patient. Actually talking to them about the breakthroughs that they've had. Acknowledging the breakthroughs that they've had and the successes that you've seen them have. Doing a little bit of a recap of remember where you were and where you are now. I'm so proud of you type of conversations. So it's really one that we want to focus in and hone in on, just the best way to say it, giving love on this particular week. It's not saying you don't do it any other time, but we are intentionally going into this week to give gratitude and appreciation and acknowledgement to our patients. Now, if you want, you can go a little bit further down the rabbit hole here, and you'll have this as a tip where you can actually just write a letter to the patients or a letter to our patients, and it's literally from you and your staff basically saying how much you love them and how much you appreciate them, and then you'll all sign it, and then you go ahead and you copy that. So you can go down that path as well. You're going to have the accessibility to do either one. I like to give you those options, as you know. And then finally we have the fourth week of the month, and the fourth week of the month is we are going back into a tip which really I don't think that we can use enough, which is talking about chiropractic and the immune system. And especially now though, we're going to relate it to the holidays, because what do we know happens in the holidays? We know that it's easier for people to forget appointments. Everybody is busy. They're hustling and bustling through the holiday, and typically after the holidays, if they didn't get sick in the holidays, that's what January is for. They end up getting sick in January because they've run so hard that their immune system just crashed. So this gives us an opportunity to have this is so important, a pre-framing conversation with your patients. You're going to be proactive and say, Mary, I know the holidays are coming up and you tend to be busy, but look, it's really important that we stay on track with your care. And if you find that you have to miss an appointment, please let's make sure that we make it up. As you'll notice with this week's tip, we're talking about the immune system. And what we know about chiropractic is when you're getting adjusted, that helps to stimulate your immune system, which means, although it doesn't mean you can't get sick, but it does mean that you're going to be less likely to get sick because of that increased boost in your immune system. But what do we also know? As stress goes up, immune system function goes down. So let's give your body every chance that it has to go through the holidays being strong and healthy and really dealing with stress effectively. So this is a tip that I got to tell you, I mean, over 20 years in the profession, whenever Thanksgiving rolls around, I start having this conversation with people because the holidays does get busy and it becomes an excuse for people to miss an appointment. When you start having a proactive conversation with your patients, you stay on them, hold them accountable, they're going to make their appointments and they're going to come out on the other side in January and go, holy crap, man, I usually get sick in every January. Not this year. It's amazing, doc. What happened? And you get to reflect back on the conversations that you had at the end of November. So this is a really impactful tip. Anytime, it's really one that you kind of keep in the vault all the time because it really does refocus people into understanding how powerful chiropractic is and helping them to be healthy, not just for back and neck pain. So those are the 4 tips that we have for this month. We start with leaves, trees, you and me, which is a tip talking about innate intelligence. We then talk about the cell phone and what that has to do with your health or chiropractic and being connected. And we even use relationships there. The relationship conversation does what? It helps to stimulate the ability for you to talk about referrals. And we'll get into that deeper when we talk about the cell phone and the novelty item in that particular week. Week 3, we're talking about what? Gratitude and acknowledgement. So really just letting people know how much we love and appreciate them and really having a focused week on that gratitude, but acknowledging the changes that they've had. Reminding them of where they've come from and how far they've come as a patient in your office. If they've only been there for 2 weeks, you just thank them for being there. This is a really fun week. It's a high energy week. You get a lot of hugs too, and I'm a big hugger, so I really love this week. And then week number 4, we go back down the path of talking about the holidays and holiday stress and how it affects your immune system, but what chiropractic does to counteract that. So those are our 4 tips. And finally this month, we have our bonus tip. And our bonus tip this month is going to be, that's right, we're talking about the old trusty smoke detector and what it has to do with your health and chiropractic. So what do we know? If you look at just the quick hit on this, is if that smoke detector is making that screeching, that annoying screeching sound, you have an option. You can either identify where it's coming from, or you can take the smoke detector out of the ceiling or off the wall and take the batteries out. Well, taking the batteries out is ignoring that there's a deeper problem. Well, what do patients do? What do people do when they have a symptom? They take aspirin, or they tend to ignore that there's a problem until something seriously takes place. So this is a great tip to be able to use to talk to people about something that many chiropractors don't want to talk about, which is symptoms, but it's a door-opening conversation for many people and helps to open their eyes as to the possibilities of what chiropractic can do for them. So this month, when you look at your bonus tip, that's what you're going to get. So you can see we've got a lot of great information for you over the course of this month. We're talking about innate intelligence. We're using a cell phone as our novelty item. We're also going into gratitude and acknowledging people for the successes that they've had in our practices. And then we're ending by talking about something that's so important, which is keeping your immune system fired up as you go through the holidays. We have that last bonus tip, which is the smoke detector. You can use it as a picture card, which you're going to receive. You can use it as a written tip, or you can use it as a novelty item. If you have any smoke detectors laying around, feel free to go ahead and bring one to the office, or 2 or 3, and use those, give those to patients to talk about them as well. So we've got a great month here for you. I hope you're excited about it. I'm excited about it. Let's go ahead, roll up your sleeves, get to work. What's going to happen next Tuesday? You're going to get that first tip in your inbox for the month of November. Can you believe that we're already here? It's amazing. So have a great week. We'll see you next week. I am Dr. Troy Dukowitz. This has been Retention Secrets, where our purpose is to increase patient certainty so we can increase patient retention. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.